From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, we are live as always right here. Sports Scene is an interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com, my interview show since February of 1992. I am back from Miami. Good to be back. Tell your friends about Sports Scene. Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup as always. Sponsors on GJBTV.com as well as Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant. You can see their link on Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com with 2 delicious locations in Virginia Beach. Phone line presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Sponsors as well, Crawl Space Stores, Mi Hogar, Spaghetti Eddies. A lot going on this week, the NBA Draft, Major League Baseball, the Tides, a lot of great summer activities. Go out and enjoy them as well. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary. What teased me off always on Sports Scene. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene each week, and we love our regulars and newcomers as well. And folks, first and foremost, you can always find this show on my Twitter handle, on Greg Bick. GREGBIC, and all the Twitter handles I just mentioned. For more, go to GJBTV.com. We archive the show within 24 to 48 hours. It's archived as well right there on YouTube as well. 1650 AM, 92.5 FM, tunein.com. Sports Scene rolls on.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddies. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, welcome back live to Sports Scene right here on this beautiful Wednesday, June 21st. Summer is here. It is 12:10 in the afternoon. This gentleman worked at Sinclair Broadcasting, former voice of the Michigan Wolverines, been on this show, been with me at Red Zebra, does a lot of commercials as well. Let's welcome Bill Bishop, former voice of the Tides. How are you, my friend?
I'm not doing too badly for an old geezer.
How is your health, first of all?
Well, I had a little scare about a month ago and spent a week in the hospital and some time in rehab, and they've got me recuperating now. I'm moving a little slower than I used to. I got to tell you that.
Well, you need to give up the karaoke late at night.
that helps, I think.
Well, let's talk about Michigan football first before we talk about baseball. What do you think about Harbaugh? He's very energetic. He had his team traveling overseas to bond together. What is your take on Michigan football today?
Well, Harbaugh has raised the profile. I mean, let's face it. Michigan was struggling because Michigan is known as primarily, in terms of sports, a football school. and they have done so poorly against Ohio State in recent years. And that is the measure. That's how they're measured, how they perform in that one game every year. And I think they've now dropped 9 of 10 or 10 of 11. Brady Hoke managed to beat them once in 4 tries. The coach before that, the guy out at Arizona, can't think of his name, but he went 0 for 3. And Urban Meyer, continues the string, and it just continues to frustrate the Wolverine football family. And so they go get Harbaugh, a high-profile coach who came awfully close this last year. In fact, he would argue probably that he got hosed out of that win against the Buckeyes. But that's the measuring stick. That's the bar. And if Harbaugh can climb over that bar, they do get them in Ann Arbor this year. It will change the perception, I think, of Michigan football greatly, and certainly improve it from where it is now.
Very disciplined. I've had a chance to meet Harbaugh's parents at a Ravens game. I was working years ago too for the NFL, and of course, what a gentleman he is. Consistency back in the program, Bill, from the uniforms to it just seems like a lot more less off the field distractions under Harbaugh.
They do they have fun with his khaki pants and all the trips he makes. He seems to get his name in the paper about once a week, which is amazing. But he loves it. He loves being in the spotlight, and he will put Michigan football in the spotlight if he can climb over the Buckeyes and a few other teams.
Yeah, he's very active on Twitter, talking to Bill Bishop, former voice of the Tides, right here on Sports Scene. All right, let's get right into the summertime pastime. It's baseball. They finally got a little bit of an audience all to themselves. Football's over with. Basketball's over with.
It lasts for about a month.
Yep, and then, of course, football starts back up again. What is your thought about that? Because at one time, baseball was the king of all sports.
Well, baseball has been replaced by the National Football. There's no question about that. And I've seen that happen in my lifetime. And to me, that's been a bit of a disappointment because I grew up loving baseball as much as I did and still do. But I'm becoming a former breed. Football has replaced baseball. It's as simple as that. The game moves faster. It's more colorful. And if I can throw in my 2 cents worth here, I like to refer to the worldwide leader of sports as ESPNFL.
Well, they also broadcast Major League Baseball, too. But you're right. Baseball, and I've worked a lot of games for Fox as well, it just seems like it's dial-up internet. We live in an ADD, Facebook, Twitter, social media world. People don't have the patience to sit there for 4 hours.
That's absolutely right. I find myself watching parts of games, or maybe the end, the seventh inning on, because most games are decided at that point. And so, I find it moving slow, and if I find it moving slowly, then probably 98% of your audience feels the same.
All right, let's talk right about the standings right now. The Yankees were head of the East there for a while. They've dipped. The Red Sox are, now in first, barely, but they're still in first. The Orioles plummeted for a while. They're playing back better, but their pitching has to improve because they're not even going to sniff the postseason.
No, their pitching has been the Achilles heel all year long. And if Bundy and who's the other guy, Kevin, who am I thinking of? The other
you talking about Gosman? You talking about Gosman?
Gosman, yeah. Mm-hmm. If they can't get the job done, then they're in bad shape because Miley is kind of a retread, and Ubaldo Jimenez has been a major disappointment. It's interesting to listen to the hometown broadcasters because they don't want to say this guy is washed up, but they use every euphemism in the book to avoid it. And Jimenez and Miley, you can't count on them to be guys that are going to get you over the top.
That's true. Talking to Bill Bishop right here, former voice of Michigan and the Tides. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us.
I'm sorry, Greg, to interrupt. You mentioned the Red Sox. They have been waiting for the trio of Sale and Price and the Cy Young winner, Rick Porcello, to get their act together, and they seem to have it together. And look out, they could be primed for a long run.
That's true, of course, but it takes normally 60 to 80 games. With all these trades that go on, Bill, and the off-season moods and the deadlines, the chemistry is just not there in April and May, and you see it takes time for these teams to gel, like the Red Sox, who are starting to play better now, and some of these other teams as well. April and May, they're still coming off spring training, and they're trying to get a roster together.
Oh, yeah, and of course now you have one of the big factors now is that July 31st trade deadline, and you've got the contenders and the non-contenders all moving into position to make major deals and improve their teams. I'm a lifelong Detroit baseball fan, as you know, and I worry a little bit that the Tigers seem to be bottoming out now, and they may let some of their high-priced stars go in the trade deadline just to trade for cheaper prospects in the minor leagues.
Before we talk about the Nationals and the National League, what is your thoughts about Cleveland doing very well as Houston?
Well, Cleveland, I like the manager who has done a heck of a job. He won a couple of pennants in the World Series with the Red Sox and now with the Indians. And he is a veteran in that league who seems to me to have the edge over the others. Of course, Girardi in New York has been around forever, and he's doing a pretty nice job. That league, that division is going to be very competitive right to the end. The East with Boston, New York, and possibly somebody else sneaking in there, but those two. And then the American League, you've got Cleveland, which to me stands out, but Minnesota has been a surprise, and the White Sox and Kansas City is coming on a little bit. So I think they're going to be pretty competitive the rest of the way, and it should be pretty darn interesting.
Houston's been so revitalized since they moved to the American League, because they really were a doormat team in the National League prior to moving to the American League.
Well, right about the time they moved, they came up with that core of the second baseman, Altuve, and Springer, and Correa, and their pitcher, of course, two great pitchers on that staff, Keuchel and McHugh. So they are well grounded, and that core is very, very strong, and has been performing well all season. They look like they're just running away with it, but they have. You're right. They've turned it around completely, and the move to the American League, I'm sure, helped.
Talking to Bill Bishop, this is Sports Scene on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. The most consistent place in the future, as Joe Daniel will know, will be on Greg Bacon on Twitter as well as YouTube as well. We are so honored and fortunate to do this show right here on Sports Scene. Well, you talk about the Nationals and the Orioles both, always consistent during the regular season. They both kind of bomb in the postseason. I say this, the way the Nationals are dominating the East, I don't see anybody touching them the rest of the year. It's going to come down to what they're going to do as far as pitching and the matchups they're going to get in the postseason if they keep on keeping on.
Well, the postseason will be mighty interesting if it's Washington, the Dodgers, and the Cubs, and of course you throw in the wild card, which right now doesn't look like it's going to be very significant. But those three teams should really battle each other down the stretch. Interesting story in the Virginian Pilot today about Max Scherzer, one of my former favorites with the Tigers. I always regretted letting him get away instead of maybe even Verlander. But Scherzer has been Scherzer to me is what I call a bulldog. There aren't too many of them around, and you can see the joy when they're pitching and getting the job done and congratulating their defense and high-fiving everybody. They're fun to watch, and they're also outstanding. And those three teams are really gonna scrap in the postseason. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Greg Maddux was a lot like that for the Braves too.
He was a bulldog.
Very consistent.
So was Smoltz and Glavine. They had three bulldogs at once, which is very uncommon. But as you know, that's one of the great pitching trios of all time.
Absolutely. And, of course, Milwaukee, Chicago will be right there, Colorado, the Dodgers, Arizona. So it's going to be tough for the Nationals. I mean, they're lucky they're not in the strongest division in the world. One guy had on here, Al Galdi from ESPN 980, thought it was the worst division in North American sports. Football, basketball, baseball, or hockey.
American sports, that well, but
Yeah.
but they are running away with it. There's no question about it. And that could hurt them come playoff time because they might not be as battle-tested as the Dodgers, Cubs, or Rockies.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that Dusty Baker, the great former Dodger who knows that play so well, never became the manager of the Dodgers. He was with the Giants, the Cubs, the Reds, the Nationals. Never with the Dodgers.
He's kicked around a long time, and of course, they've come to love him in Washington. So we'll see how long that love fest continues.
We do a weekly segment with Ian Locke, during the baseball season with the Norfolk Tides. They're 30-41. It doesn't seem like they're that consistent like they used to be. What are your thoughts on the Tides this year, and your thoughts back when you were broadcasting when the late Dave Rosenfield was around? I want to get your thoughts on him as well.
Well, I think I've been on your program maybe a few years ago, and I said, boy, I wish the Tides would improve. They draw pretty well. The park is wonderful, but it does disappoint me that they can't seem to come up with a winning record in recent years, and that probably slows my attendance a little bit, knocks out a few games, because you'd like to see a team that's winning, that's on fire, and is moving in the standings, and the Tides don't seem to have been there in recent years, though they have some interesting players. They are really, how many pitchers can you name on the current team, even if you're a pretty good fan of theirs? It's difficult to do, largely because the Orioles are in such flux, and they keep calling people up and sending them back down. But it is disappointing to me that they don't have a better product on the field, at least more competitive. Seems like Durham, with the Tampa Bay Rays, comes up with a strong team in that division almost every year. And, of course, Gwinnett and Charlotte are better teams right now, although they're affiliated with major league teams that you wouldn't consider powerhouses, Atlanta and the Chicago White Sox. So it makes for an interesting situation. The Baltimore situation obviously dictates what happens here to a large degree, and that is hard for the locals to control. I understand that, but you still need to put a product out there that wins more than it loses. I broadcast for a couple of years way back when, and the first year they were in an 8-team league, and it was much more stable because you played each team, I think, 20 games, right? 140 games against 7 other teams, exactly. And it was easier to follow statistically and geographically. And so I think that complicates minor league baseball a little bit when they keep changing around and adding teams, it seems like almost every year, and coming up with new divisions. Of course, that reminds me of the Admirals situation in the completely far-flung East Coast Hockey League. But in baseball, it helps to have some consistency, as you pointed out, and we haven't seen that lately, certainly from our local team.
While we're talking to Bill, this summer in Miami, the biggest and brightest stars in the game come together for one night. It's the 2017 Major League Baseball All-Star Game live from Marlins Park. Tune in July 11th at 7:30 p.m. only on Fox. And this year it's in Miami, Bill. Next year, the Nationals host the All-Star Game.
I know it, and I'm sure they're already looking forward to that. And that really is a huge deal. It might not be as big a deal as it used to be with more teams and more players involved, but it's still, I wouldn't miss it for the world. The home run derby, I'm not that crazy about it, but that's a newfangled idea, and it seems to be very, very popular. So what have I got to say about it?
I mentioned the late Dave Rosenfield. He passed away this year. I interviewed him several times on TV and radio. Always kind of gruff. Either you liked him or you didn't. He was very blunt. Your thoughts on Rosenfield?
Well, I worked for Dave. I came here from Michigan in 1978, which is almost 40 years ago. And immediately I got together with Dave, and he pointed out something. I had my own ideas about broadcasting. Dave had his ideas about broadcasting. Sometimes they didn't coincide completely, and that led to some conflicts occasionally. But Dave is one of the smartest, most brilliant, really funny men or persons I've ever met in my life. It was a privilege to know him. Our relationship was not 100% ideal all the time.
Whose wasn't with him?
But well, he was gruff. He was a taskmaster, and he had his own ideas. And I was 40 3 years old when I came here, so I wasn't exactly a neophyte, and I had some, hard-based concepts of broadcasting, and sometimes they clashed with Dave. I think my very first game, somebody hit a ground ball to the shortstop, and I said, the shortstop has it, and he pegs it over to first for the out. That's an expression I learned from a Chicago White Sox broadcaster way back when I was a kid and up in Michigan and listening to the White Sox games. Dave immediately took me aside. He says, we don't use that expression anymore. Don't say he pegged the ball. So I never said it again.
Wow.
But I always remember that as one of the things that he was fussy about, and he always made his point. But he was an amazing baseball mind and one of a kind, really.
I know. I remember as a kid, I'd sit there in the press box. He would ask me who's batting. He really liked to quiz people all the time.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. May his memory be eternal. The former Tides general manager, Joe Gregory, doing a great job today, as well as Ian Locke, who will be on here in a few minutes. Bill, other sports going on as well. The Admirals, they've been around. They're chugging around like a little train that could. Will they be here 5 years from now, you think?
Well, there again, you have a team that's really struggling, and I think that hurt them attendance-wise. But also, I think, when you're playing Idaho and Fresno, it's a little hard to make a connection there when they're playing those. I know they don't play them very often, but it is a little difficult because the league is so far flung, and it's hard to keep up with. To follow them in the standings and to really care how San Antonio and Grand Rapids are doing. So anyway, they do put out a pretty good product, and of course I go back to the original ECHL days, and that, as you know, those were really fun times, especially on Friday nights down at Scope.
Let me ask you before we let you go, too. You've done a lot of singing. You've done karaoke. Did the radio broadcasting help you with all the singing you've done?
Oh, if radio broadcasting, keeps your voice in shape, certainly your speaking voice. I feel like I've lost a little bit with this latest problem, and I'm a little concerned about being able to keep up the singing pace. By the way, if I could plug...
Sure.
Is it okay if I plug something?
Sure. Who else doesn't?
My friend, Frank Cabillo, whose name is pretty familiar to a lot of people, especially Frank Sinatra-type fans, Frank and I are planning to put on a show next April. I know it's a long way away, at the Sandler Center, and we're going to be on the big stage, and we're really looking forward. It's going to be the dream of a lifetime for me, and I think for Frank as well.
Well, very good, Bill.
That's really what we're focusing on right now, 10 months ahead of time.
All the best to you, health and happiness. Have a great summer. Please don't go party at night at your age, but have a lot of fun. And
as long as you don't mention my age, I'm on your side.
You're ageless. Greg. All right, Bill, take care. Bill Bishop right there, former Sinclair broadcasting pro as well as with the Tides, too. As the music rolls on right here on Sports Scene, we have the news coming up. GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Stay tuned.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
I want to tell my good friend Joe Daniel something. You know how important it is for talent to have a good producer. You've been on both ends as well. You've hosted shows too. You have to have a good 1-2 punch and chemistry to make a show right in today's age.
No, you're absolutely right. And thank you so much for the nice words.
You and I become really good friends too.
Yeah. No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, even with my show, we are looking for somebody to rely on, and that's what it is. Somebody who is reliable, dependable, and somebody who will fight for you.
Exactly. Like if my show comes on Saturday morning, I know that you will watch it. So exactly right. All right, highlights right here. Of course, GJBTV.com. Click the YouTube link for archive shows as well. Save the date each Wednesday from 12 to 1 for Sports Scene. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit, bookmark HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. I want to thank Bill Bishop, the former voice of the Tides, for being my guest in the first half hour as well. Panera is now the only nationwide certified chain, they can say every item is 100% clean. They deliver. They offer catering. They also have a rapid pickup option. Folks, they got a great menu, soups, sandwiches, delicious salads for the summer, breakfast, beverages, bagels. They got nice bread, of course. Smoothies are great. They've got excellent soups and salads. Food as it should be at Panera. Where are they located at? The general manager, Christian, as well his great team at 6255 College Drive in Suffolk in the Harborview section. Open 7 days a week, early for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Give them a call at 483-3670. PaneraBread.com. Delicious food 7 days a week. Of course, great salads, especially during the summer. All right, let's welcome Ian Locke, the Media Relations Director of the Tides. Had a birthday recently. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Greg, how are you?
Very good, very good, very good. We just had Bill Bishop on, who was the voice of the Tides in the late 70s, kind of reminiscing about Rosenfield, about how back then there was only 8 teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how the game of baseball has grown a little bit, especially in this league. I know for a while we only had 8, and now it's up to 14, spanning all the way up out through Louisville and Toledo and Indianapolis out in the West. And those are some new teams that back in the day were in the American Association, which was a different league in the late 70s.
Well, let's talk about the Tides, of course, and the Orioles kind of like coincide together. Like you said, the Tides are only as good as what they've got on the roster from the Orioles, and of course, Double-A, Single-A further down the line for the Orioles too. The Orioles are starting to play better. Of course, pitching is going to be an issue for them until the fall. What about the Tides? Give us a lay of the land for the Tides right now.
Yeah, we've been playing a little better. I mean, the last couple of weeks we've been about 500 or so. We can't seem to string 3 wins together. We get 2, and then we lose 1, then we win 2, and then we lose 1, and then we lose 2, and right back to where we were. But our starting pitching is starting to come around a lot. I know Jason Aquino is a guy that's pitching for us today. We're playing at Durham at 105 today, and Aquino's pitching. He threw 8 innings last time and allowed 1 unearned run in his last outing. We just can't seem to score any runs for the poor guy. We scored 19 runs in 9 games for him, so a little over 2 runs a game. Everyone else is getting about 4.5, 5 runs a game, and this poor guy is pitching well and only gets 2 runs a game. But we've been playing well. We just finished up a homestand where we had 2 walk-off wins in our last 3 games. We're kind of pulling a little closer to Durham. That's who we're playing today and tomorrow, so hopefully we can get a couple wins and get back closer to top of the standings.
And you come back Monday against Louisville, correct?
We come back Monday, kind of a packed homestand. We have an 8-game homestand coming up. The big game during the week is on Tuesday night. We have the annual Turn Back the Clock night where we do 50-cent hot dogs, 50-cent popcorns, and 50-cent sodas. We'll also wear some throwback Norfolk Tars jerseys as well. So that's always a big night. Tickets are on sale right now online as well as at the Harbor Park box office for that game.
I always asked Mr. Rosenfield the same thing back in the day. Did you get a lot of tourists that spend time in Virginia Beach coming to a ballpark since they can see you on 264?
Yeah, and that's one of the things. If people drive by the stadium, we're not really allowed a ton of outside signage for the ballpark, but we have that big, giant Tides Are In sign. And it's amazing. That was an idea Dave had, just to say, hey, put this big sign out there, and people drive by, they know that we're in. And, it's crazy to see how many people have didn't think we had a game, but saw, hey, Tides Are In, and, in the morning they saw it, and then they come by later that night. So, we pull from all areas. I know Virginia Beach is, I think, of all the cities in Hampton Roads, we get our most fans from Virginia Beach. But we're pulling from everywhere, and when people come to the beach, they hang out at the beach during the day, and then shoot on down 264 and come visit us at night, and we're happy they do. Talking to Ian Locke, this is Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us at Greg Bick. We'll get Ian's social media in just a moment. Wasn't there some talk about another minor league team coming, or instructional team coming to Virginia Beach? Whatever happened to that? I think they mentioned it was going to be an independent league team out in Virginia Beach, kind of down by the amphitheater.
Sure.
And I don't think they've even made any progress. I know it was a big to-do when it was first announced that they were going to do it, but I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't believe they got enough funding to even start the project, and they haven't broken ground or anything like that, and I don't see them coming through with that anytime soon. So
it's hard to beat the Tides, folks. It really is.
We've been here a long time, where we're successful, and it's tough to. They would have been a competitor, I guess, but it's a totally different level of baseball. That's an independent ball where we're one step away from the major leagues.
And we're all one big area. The Virginia Beach people will say, well, we've got the ocean front, but you look at Norfolk, they've got the Admirals, the Tides, they've got the Opera, they've got the Wells Theater. There's so much culture stuff. You remember, I'm sure your mother used to tell you that when you were a kid, get involved in culture activities as well. There's so much culture in Norfolk. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy, too. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to visit the new Waterside building downtown that they just finished there in early May, and we think that's going to be a great help for us. I know the couple visiting teams stay at the hotel, the Sheridan, which is right next door, and the visiting teams that come in are like, wow, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a nice add-on, and I've been over there a couple times, and it's really crazy how nice that is over there with the waterfront, view and restaurants and all that stuff. So that should be a nice boon to downtown Norfolk as well.
You mentioned the Tides are in the sign on the outside of Harbor Park, the 25th year of Harbor Park. I'm going to ask you about that in a second, but it's amazing. People like the traditional marketing, but of course social media is so big now. It's so easy to promote. We put this show sometimes on social media and get just as many listeners on that as we do on anything else, but live radio is still number one. You got your games are on live radio, and people love the live radio in their car, and they love the shows like this that are either on weekdays or weekends that they can tune into. People can't get enough content, Ian. They can't.
Yeah, and people want to drive what they want to listen to, what they want to listen to. I mean, it's
sure.
If you're on the way into work this morning, I fire up a podcast or listen to something that's through YouTube or something on through my car. And I didn't get a chance to listen to whatever it was when it was live, but I can fire it up on my phone and play it through my Bluetooth in my car, and just like that, I'm listening to what I want to listen to at all times, and that's just kind of how it is with us as well. So, people can listen to our games if they like, archived as well online. We have an app with minor league baseball that's called Minor League Baseball First Pitch, and people can listen to our games or watch our games through that every single day. Archived games, I can go back and watch games from April if I want on my phone within 30 seconds. It's crazy how technology has advanced through the years.
It really is. We rely on YouTube so much for this show as well, even though it's audio content driven. I mean, I was in Miami last week, and of course, Facebook Live. There's just so many different ways of getting it out there. We rely on radio, of course, on Twitter and YouTube, but like you said, and Facebook, there's just so many different ways to get the content out as well. What about minor league baseball on TV? Usually the All-Star game is.
Yep. Usually the All-Star game will be, I think that's, I believe MLB Network is airing that this year. That's traditionally the All-Star game, the Major League All-Star game is on Tuesday of the All-Star break, and then the AAA All-Star game is on Wednesday night, the night after. And that'll be broadcast on the radio as well, but that's a national TV broadcast. But with, as I mentioned, the MILB First Pitch, that's what they call MILB.TV. You can watch that on your laptop or on your phone. And every single one of our games, home and road, is broadcast basically on TV, which is great. That's something that was never really a possibility back 5-10 years ago. But every game is now broadcast live, and people that follow us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube as well will see that we post highlights 10 minutes after they happen. We can put stuff up there pretty instantly. If someone hits a home run or someone makes a great catch, we can put that online, and that's something more and more content. People like it, and we can throw it out there, and we get more likes and tweets and all that stuff from videos of guys hitting home runs because people want to see that stuff. They're interested, and we're happy to provide it.
Yeah, 25th anniversary of the Tides at Harbor Park. Of course, they used to play at Met Park way back in the day. Anything else special coming up in July or August?
Well, one thing we have going on right now, there's Baseball America is actually running a contest that they did early throughout the summer that's called basically Logo Mania, and it was a contest between a bunch of minor league teams and to have fans choose their favorite hat. What's their favorite hat? And we've advanced all the way to the Final Four. There was a big 36 teams that started. We're now in the Final Four going up against the New Orleans Baby Cakes, which is an interesting name to say the least. But people can go onto baseballamerica.com and vote for the Tides right now. I think we're right neck and neck. I think it's 53-47. New Orleans is leading us right now, so we need a little extra push here at the end. But fans can vote as many times as they want, and hopefully we advance. I think voting ends Friday at midnight, so hopefully next week we'll be talking about us going into the final as the top hat in minor league baseball.
That will be quite an honor too, especially during the summer. You got to wear it to protect you from that the sun as well. So powerful.
Absolutely.
Ian, all the best. We will see you next week and talk to you on the radio as well. Look forward to it. Have a great rest of the week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. Ian Locke right there from the Norfolk Tides. And, of course, like we said, Joe Daniel, so much now is connected through social media. You can plan so much on social media.
Right, and you can really reach out to any demographic. There are some people who pretty much just get their news from Facebook, and you're able to Facebook Live, like you were saying, or people who just like watching YouTube videos, and you're able to reach the YouTube audience. So exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, I did that last week from Miami. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Just got the water from the waves. That's it. Facebook Lived it. It was so cool. People with flip phones, I'm sorry, you need to upgrade a little bit. All right, don't forget a local tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. They showcase NASCAR, Major League Baseball, of course, college sports, golf, soccer, tennis, and of course, congratulations to the U.S. Open winner recently as well. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Go by and see Matt, Mark, and Chris. Enjoy some great burgers, pasta, seafoods, bar bites at Shore Drive by Chef Leon. Delicious food. Hey, locals. Hey, tourists. Check out CP Shuckers. Excellent, excellent seafood and burgers. You can't go wrong with that place at all. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Sports Scene live on the radio after these messages. It's 12:45. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
And another thing, too, Joe Daniel, Messenger on Facebook is almost hurting text messaging. And remember the old Yahoo instant messaging?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Facebook message
Chat
app,
rooms.
the Facebook message app is way ahead of itself.
Yeah, Google Hangouts has a similar thing as well. But yeah, you're right. Facebook Messenger or the Google Hangouts, where you're also able to call people over the internet as well through Wi-Fi, or you're able to just, you're texting each other, and then there should be a little video icon as well. So then you can use your cell phone and just do FaceTime that way and see each other. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy the way technology is now. It's like the Jetsons. You know how we saw like people calling each other and they would talk on through, and you see their face. The future is now.
Well, we all have to eat, and Buffalo Wild Wings is the place to eat and watch sports on TV. Wall-to-wall TVs right there at Jefferson Avenue at 12150 Jefferson Avenue, right next to Patrick Henry Mall. Go by and get some great food at Buffalo Wild Wings. Watch all the great sporting events like golf, soccer, and tennis and baseball this summer. Of course, they've got great tacos, mozzarella sticks, salads, boneless traditional wings, excellent burgers like the Big Daddy burger as well, wraps and sandwiches. You pick options, tenders and macs, great beverages, desserts, stuff for the kids. Buy a bottle, make a difference, team up for the kids, always giving back to the community. And of course, large crowd takeout to your next party or event from Buffalo Wild Wings. Really, they are the trendsetter. Delicious food. I know Joe Daniel likes it as well. Excellent food at Buffalo Wild Wings. They cater to kids and adults. Paul Odette and the great staff do a wonderful job serving the community, not only with excellent food, open 7 days a week, 7 nights a week. They really have revolutionized the wings as also good hospitality as well. Stay tuned.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-77705. At Mihogar, there is something for everyone.
WHKT The Answer wants to thank our advertisers for their support, and we're committed to delivering advertising results. We reach an upscale educated audience that's hard to reach anywhere else, and the majority of the net profit we produce is invested in the community. Our advertisers' marketing dollars support missions, charities, and organizations throughout Hampton Roads and beyond. That's why we exist. To learn more about marketing and our unique business model, call 488-1010, that's 488-1010, or go to 1650theanswer.com.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
All right, welcome back live right here to the Sports Scene. It is 12:49. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Hope you enjoyed Bill Bishop and Ian Locke so far right here on Sports Scene at Greg Bick, where we archive all of our shows for our great listeners, sponsors, and, of course, people listening. And hello to all the locals and tourists as well. Well, yesterday I did a Facebook Live at the Royal Chocolate. Went over very well. And my cousin even asked where it was. She already kind of knew where it was, but Brenda came to the rescue. How are you, Brenda Tusing?
I am great today, Greg. How are you?
That was a lot of fun just to see the chocolate.
It was so impromptu on your part. It was just, hey, let me do a Facebook Live, and you went behind the scenes, and it was pretty cool. I had never really seen that in action, so I enjoyed it. And you did a great job. I looked at it last night.
Yeah, it stays archived up there, too. It doesn't go away, which is really good.
It was great. I appreciated it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We appreciate you. What a great thing, the kids camp. It was so much fun to see the joy in those kids' faces.
You know, this is the first year we've done it, and yesterday was the first day of the camp. We had, I think, 8 or 10 children participate. We can have up to 16. It was a lot of fun. They get so excited about chocolate, and they learned about chocolate, and they made a chocolate bar. They dipped a Rice Krispie treat. They decorated the box for the chocolate bar. They got to dip an apple in caramel, and they had hats that they wore that they colored, and they were just wonderful. Okay, I'm a little bit older, and I'm always a little leery. You know, a lot of children in the store, but their ages 8 and up, and they were the nicest young people, and we had a great time with them. I'm just looking forward to this whole series of camps this summer.
Well, let's talk about it. When is it going to be?
Well, they're going to be, again, started yesterday. We're doing them every Tuesday and Thursday from now through August 10th. We won't be open July 4th, and that's a Tuesday this year. That's the only one we'll miss. We can have up to 16 children, ages 8 and up, $45 a person. They'll be there from 11 to between 2 and 2:30. They took a little break. We had pizzas delivered, and they had juice boxes for lunch. So they had a half hour or so break there where, they sat around and did kid things and just enjoyed themselves. So, yeah, you have to call and register because, again, limited seating and prepay. So I'm hoping a lot of people find out about it because it was very enjoyable. The neat thing, too, is the parents or whoever dropped the children off. We have had most of the other retailers and restaurants in Town Center give us some coupons, so you can do a little discounted shopping that day, have lunch in Town Center. You don't really even have to go very far. You can take a little break while your kids are safe and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, all you tourists driving right now, mom, dad, boy, and the girl in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Stuck.
You're right, Greg. That would be a great thing as, bringing your kids to the beach to have fun. And, you enjoy the ocean front and all that. But what a fun, different thing to do to be a chocolatier for a day.
Oh, yeah. Willy Wonka will be jealous.
Oh, yeah.
TheRoyalChocolate.com. Their phone number is 557-6925. And the great thing about you guys, you're open conveniently 7 days a week.
We are. We're open 10 to 9 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 5 on Sunday. Hey, but I have to tell you about tonight.
Sure.
Because this is Why Not Wednesday in Town Center. The DeLoreans are playing, wonderful local band. And from 6 to 8, we have a face painter, a balloon sculpturist. We have games for the kids, some specials going on in the store. So you can do a lot while you're down there. You can hear the music and have some fun. They have pizza over there. Why Not Pizza is the sponsor, but we'll offer things as well for the kids and adults just to, get away from the music for a minute and have some fun.
Yeah, and there's never a bad time to get chocolate.
Pretty much, no, there's not.
Right.
We have great frozen drinks. It's the season when our frozen drinks take off, and we always do a happy hour from 2 to 4, and we extend that on Why Not Wednesdays, 2-for-1 frozen beverages, and they are fabulous.
Give us a plug for the nice kid that helped with the Facebook Live yesterday.
That's Marbian. Marbian is one of our store managers and a chocolatier with us, chocolate maker, and he's been with us for a few years now, and he's just a joy to work with. He is pleasant, and we love him. Everybody loves Marbian.
What a great personality.
He has a wonderful personality. He's a hip-hop dancer,
wow.
and he does that.
The double life of Marbian.
Yeah. He's a very talented young man, but he's a great guy. We love him.
Very good. All the best. TheRoyalChocolate.com, Virginia Beach Town Center. Tourists go by there, listening on 92.5 FM, 1650. Go by and see Brenda and Terry. Stay cool, Brenda.
Thank you, Greg. You too. See you soon.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
All right, Brenda Tusing right there. Of course, Outback Steakhouse as well. You got to get your food somewhere. 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Go by and see Mike and the great staff. Mike is awesome. The best owner I've ever met at an organized chain like Outback Steakhouse. Great curbside menu. Of course, they've got the wings, the bloomin' onion, the great soups and the salads. So many multiple appetizers, signature steaks, potatoes, sides, seafood, chicken, ribs, much more. Great desserts, beverages, curbside takeaway. Online ordering at Outback.com. Of course, Dine Rewards too. Get 50% off every fourth visit. Go to Dine Rewards and look about it on Outback Steakhouse right there at 1255 Fordham Drive. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Give them a call at 523-4832 Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach, the one in Kempsville. Go to it. You will get exceptional service. What teased me off?
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
Okay, a few weeks ago I was on vacation. Kathy Griffin, still several weeks ago, mocking the president with a horrible photo and blaming the outside world for your problems and decision, ma'am. Of course, and the guy that shot the elected officials in Northern Virginia last week. Hope both of y'all have fun together.
Wow, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely
That was
right.
bad.
Yeah, that's horrendous. It's disgusting.
For kids to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, how about this? Talking on the phone to customer service people who speak broken English.
Yeah. And the thing is, their names are also very, how do I phrase this? They're very typical, like Steven. Hello, my name is Steven, or my name is Hunter. And it's not Hunter. But yeah.
And they're talking on a headset even worse.
Yes.
How about this? Groupies at concerts that have to go to every city in the country to see, let's say, the Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, I mean, people are crazy. Like they'll follow the tour bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, across the country or fly over to another
Get
country.
a life, please. Yeah. Go to YouTube.
Watch the concerts on
How about this?
YouTube.
I was in Miami last week. Hotel bills, added services fees for city, resort, taxes upon taxes. That's worth a night stay right there.
Yeah, the fees are ridiculous. There's a $50 convenience fee for this, and then exactly what you were saying. There's a hotel fee, a city fee, a state fee.
Incidentals too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you touch the wet bar, by the weight, they will charge you if you hold it for 20 seconds or more.
Yeah?
Yeah,
wow.
So stay away from the wet bar or the snacks.
Did not know that.
How about this as well? The general commercial, really over the general commercial. When restaurant staff, you like this one, Joe Daniel, only show energy when it's time to pay the bill.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all of a sudden the service improves.
Right, because they're looking for that extra, little depth in your pocket, Yeah, no. Consistency. That's the biggest thing. Consistency,
Exactly.
The consistency of checking up and making sure that I have everything that I need. Yeah.
When a cab driver has no clue where he is going, that's pretty bad with GPS.
Yeah, when you have to GPS for the taxi driver, that is pretty bad.
The singing commercial, Cars for Kids. I mean, come on, please. Enough with that in the general commercial, like
it's
I said.
It's catchy, man.
I know,
like it.
I remember it, of course. Trying to cram too much into a short window.
Yeah.
Like last week.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. Airplane seating and delays, weather, etc. That can really wreak havoc on your travel schedule, especially when you're connecting flights.
Right. No, just a layover is bad enough, but when there's a delay and then you're at the airport for 6, or I heard somebody, one of my friend of mine, in the airport for 12 hours.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Crazy.
The airports are pathetic. I wouldn't wish my worst enemy in an airport. Anyway, for more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Want to thank, of course, Bill Bishop, Ian Locke, and Brenda Tusing. Again, gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link on the homepage for archive shows. At Greg Bick on Twitter. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.